All right, guys. So here's some big news. This is not going to get nearly enough coverage elsewhere, but we're definitely talking about it here. So this is in Axios. Newsom signs groundbreaking law for low-wage workers. Groundbreaking law. So let me give you the specifics on this because this is super important. And honestly, in many ways, this could be a game changer. I don't think that's hyperbole. California Governor Gavin Newsom on Monday signed a bill that could increase wages for fast food workers to up to $22 per hour in what labor advocates are touting as a groundbreaking step for low-wage workers. Newsom signed the Fast Food Accountability and Standards Recovery Act, or AB 257, on Labor Day, despite facing fierce opposition from business groups who warned that the law could increase costs. Of course, the business groups are going to oppose it. They want to keep the wages as low as humanly possible. Quote, today's action gives hardworking fast food workers a stronger voice and seat at the table to set fair wages and critical health and safety standards across the industry, Newsom said in a statement. The bill will create a 10-person council made up of business, labor, and government representatives to designate an industry-wide minimum wage, which could go as high as $22 per hour with annual raises of either 3.5% or the rate of inflation. The bill could trigger duplicate laws nationwide, Axios' Emily Peck reports. The law also may signal the reemergence of what's called sectoral bargaining, a tactic in which workers from different companies in the same industry negotiate for pay together, Peck notes. The bill will cover as many as 550,000 fast food workers in California. The minimum wage in California is currently $15 an hour for employers with 26 or more employees and $14 an hour for employers with 25 or fewer workers. Quote, it was a battle of Goliath versus David, and we just had our voice to ensure AB 257 became a reality. Ingrid Villorio, who works at Jack in the Box, said Monday during a news conference, we are united to build a better industry where all races, nationalities work together to make a better industry. We know it's not over. It's the beginning. We're going to keep working so that these 500,000 workers have a voice. So this is a huge deal. Now, sectoral bargaining is it's this version of collective bargaining, which might be like the best version of it. And if I'm not mistaken, I think in some Scandinavian countries, they have this. And as a result of that, in those places, you don't even have like, an actual minimum wage, because through the sectoral bargaining, you get wages that are higher than what any, minimum wage would be. So you get better wages than if you just have a high minimum wage. And so by allowing this to happen, like they say, if there are copycat laws in other blue states, and that could potentially expand beyond blue states, because when it comes to labor and economics, the dividing lines aren't as clear as you think they are when it comes to partisanship. I mean, look at the teacher strike in West Virginia, for example. Deep red state, but you had a real movement of labor, and there's a labor history in West Virginia as well. And so now that the door is open to this, this could be one of those things. Like, how the conversation around Medicare for all was like, fuck, we didn't get it federally. But maybe the path to Medicare for all is you go state by state. So if California does it, then New York follows suit, and then, fill in the blank. It's a snowball effect from there. Now, on Medicare for all, got to keep it real, we got blocked by the health insurance companies and Big Pharma. And it was Gavin Newsom himself who stabbed everybody in the back and ran the clock out, and we didn't even get a vote on Medicare for all. So on that front, he was as corrupt as it gets. And by the way, it was David Sirota and Lever News that tracked this, and they had the exact dollar figure that Gavin Newsom had taken from health insurance companies. And so he was, massively corrupt. He got caught red-handed, and he killed Medicare for all. But here's an instance where the exact opposite happened. I guess, the fast food industry maybe didn't pay enough bribes to Gavin Newsom and to other Democrats in California, or Gavin Newsom is trying to set up a presidential run in the future, so he knows, hey, I got to do a couple of decent things, right? Like he just did the public insulin project, where now he's going to compete with, the state of California is going to compete with pharmaceutical companies and sell very cheap insulin, which is absolutely necessary. The U.S., we pay way more for insulin in this country than other developed countries do. So if you have public insulin that's created, it's going to help so many people with diabetes. So he did that. So that's one good thing he did. Now this is another good thing he's doing. I think he might be trying to set up a presidential run. But what we're talking about here really is a game changer. If we can get sectoral bargaining in California, which we just did, at least for fast food workers, then, again, snowball effect could happen in other blue states. Eventually can happen in a majority of states. Might open the conversation to, at the federal level, get some sort of law on that front. That truly is a game changer for low-wage workers. It is huge. Again, I cannot adequately explain just how important this is, because collective bargaining and unionization is almost, in fact, it's not almost, it is an even better way to address terrible wages than just, setting a higher minimum wage, for example. So, if you ask me, hey, what should we do? Should we do card check, or should we do, $15 minimum wage all around the country? Your gut might say, well, do $15 minimum wage, but actually card check would have helped even more. Or that other, I don't know why I'm blanking on the name right now, but that other pro-union piece of legislation, the PRO Act, that's what it's called, that they were considering, but ultimately they didn't have the votes, and Biden just sort of let it, wither on the vine and die. But like, if you tell me PRO Act or $15 minimum wage, people might be inclined to say, $15 minimum wage, but no, there are more positive benefits and higher wages in the aggregate if we were to do the PRO Act. And sectoral bargaining in California is huge. Again, hundreds of thousands of workers just got a raise as a result of this. And more could follow. So this is great. I mean, it's interesting, right? Because when you look at California, there's oftentimes like, they give us some of the worst policies, but then also some of the best policies. And it really is, it's that old saying that a lot of the Republicans like to use of like, the states are the laboratory of democracy. Well, if indeed that's the case, well then, this is one of those things that, if it spreads, has a colossal effect on the American public. So, look, you got to keep it real. I'm a big fan on this show of nuance. And on the day that Gavin Newsom stabbed everybody in the back and killed Medicare for All, I came out here and told you he's a corrupt son of a bitch. You want to know why? Because he's a corrupt son of a bitch. Now, that didn't change. He still is. He still killed Medicare for All. And those facts matter, and we got to talk about them. But you also have to acknowledge when a positive thing is done. And this is, frankly, as positive as it gets. Because there was, I was looking at the news stories. People were wondering, the bill had already gotten through, the California legislature, and all Newsom had to do was sign it, and he was sitting on it for a few days, and people were like, oh my God, he's not going to fucking sign it. Well, he's going to fucking kill it. Like, he's going to do a similar thing like he did with the Medicare for All thing. He's just not going to, he's not going to do it. He's not going to do it. And then, ultimately, he ended up signing it, which is base, dog. I mean, this is great. This is huge news. So, man, I'm overjoyed. Doesn't it feel good every now and then where we get a little bit of a win here or there, even if it's just a tiny one, even if it's just Biden's, student loan debt reduction? If it's this, which honestly is probably even bigger than the Biden thing, although obviously that applies to 43 million people, this is going to help hundreds of thousands of people, right? So by the numbers, that actually does help more people what Biden did. But at the state level, this could have a bigger impact in the long run. You know what I'm saying? It's nice, man. It's nice to come out here and give you guys some good news. And then that also, winning begets more winning, because then everybody gets a fire lit under them and they're like, oh my God, the pessimism is slowly going away. And now let's push. Positive things are possible, right? So anyway, here you go, man. Let's get it. Let's keep moving forward. If you want to see me and Crystal Ball interview legends like Noam Chomsky, Cornel West, and more, subscribe to Crystal Kyle and Friends on Substack. $5 a month gets you the video version a day early. Remember, we take 0 ad dollars for this podcast. Or you can sign up on Substack for free and get the audio version a day later. Link in the video description box below.